What if the life you dream of is already waiting for you, but hidden behind the choices you make each morning? Think about it. Every day begins with a blank page, yet most people let habit write the story for them. They wake up, reach for their phone, scroll without purpose, and wonder why the days feel the same. But what if you decided that today is different? What if the way you start your morning became the foundation of success, strength, and unstoppable momentum? Your daily routine is not just a list of actions. It is the silent architect of your future. Science shows us that small, repeated behaviors rewire the brain, shape identity, and define destiny. When you rise each morning and commit to a set of intentional habits, you are not just preparing for the day ahead. You are sculpting the person you are becoming. The question is not whether routines work. The question is whether yours is building you up or slowly breaking you down. There is something powerful about the first hours after you wake. Your mind is fresh, your willpower is highest, and your energy can be directed before distractions arrive. Yet most people surrender this golden time to chaos and noise. They forget that mornings are not accidents, they are choices. You can choose to step into the day with clarity and strength, or you can drift and allow life to control you. One path leads to growth, confidence, and success. The other leads to regret, wasted time, and missed potential. Imagine the difference. One person wakes up late, rushes, reacts, and carries stress like a heavy weight. Another wakes up with purpose, follows a powerful routine, and carries a calm sense of control into everything they touch. Both people live the same 24 hours, but the one who commands the morning commands the day. The truth is simple. If you win the morning, you win your life. So why should you stay here listening and not click away to the next distraction? Because deep down, you know you want more. You know the version of you who is disciplined, focused, and confident is waiting to be unleashed. You know that the gap between who you are and who you want to be is not talent, not luck, not even resources. It is routine. What you choose to repeat every single day becomes the bridge from where you stand to where you want to go. And here's the emotional reward for leaning in: freedom. The freedom to wake up and feel in control of your life, not enslaved by distractions. The freedom to look in the mirror and be proud of the discipline you've built. The freedom to feel energy instead of exhaustion, focus instead of confusion, progress instead of stagnation. That is what a daily routine for success gives you. It is not about following a strict checklist just for the sake of order. It is about aligning your actions with your highest vision so that each day you live feels like a step forward, not another day wasted. This is why the routine you build matters so much, because the habits you repeat quietly in the background are the ones shouting the loudest about your future. Stay with me, because the path to success is not complicated. It is built one simple routine at a time. And by the end of this journey, you will not only know what to do each day, you will feel unstoppable power in your hands, ready to create the life you were born to live. Most people underestimate the force of the small decisions they make when the alarm rings. They think it doesn't matter if they hit snooze once or twice. They think it doesn't matter if they skip the glass of water, the stretch, the 5 minutes of silence. But every time you say not today, you teach your mind that comfort is more important than growth. Every time you delay, you train your identity to settle for less. Success is not about one big moment that changes everything. It is about thousands of small victories that begin the instant you open your eyes. Your brain is wired to protect you, to keep you safe, to conserve energy. That is why the bed feels warmer when you know you should get up. That is why the mind whispers excuses the moment discipline is required. But here's the truth. Your comfort zone is a cage disguised as safety. Nothing extraordinary happens there. The lives you admire, the results you desire, were built by people who learned to act when it was easier to wait. They won the battle with their own excuses, and that battle always begins in the first moments of the day. When you wake up with intention, you send a message to yourself: I am in charge. I'm not a prisoner of yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears. I decide what this day will mean. That declaration, repeated through action, rewires your mind. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, shows us that what you practice becomes who you are. If you practice distraction, you become scattered. If you practice focus, you become unstoppable. The person you are training is not some distant future version of yourself. It is the you that will walk through today. Picture this clearly. Every morning is a fresh negotiation between the weaker self that craves ease and the stronger self that craves growth. Which one wins depends not on motivation, but on discipline. Motivation fades, but discipline is a promise you keep to yourself. And when you keep that promise, you build something more valuable than success. You build self-respect. With self-respect comes confidence. And with confidence comes the courage to face challenges others avoid. Ask yourself, what is the cost of not acting? How many days have already slipped through your fingers because you chose to delay? How many times have you told yourself you would start tomorrow, only to realize tomorrow looks exactly like today? That cycle ends when you decide that your routine is no longer optional. It is non-negotiable. It becomes as necessary as breathing because without it, you suffocate your own potential. The reward for this choice is profound. Imagine walking into your day with clarity instead of confusion, energy instead of fatigue, strength instead of hesitation. Imagine stacking small wins before the world has even woken up and carrying that momentum into every challenge you face. That is what a powerful routine delivers. It doesn't just organize your life, it empowers it. It creates a rhythm of progress that pulls you forward. Even on days when your willpower feels weak, you already carry within you the ability to transform. The tools are not hidden in some distant place. They are in your hands, in the choices you make, in the actions you repeat. Each morning is an invitation to rewrite your story. The question is, will you rise and accept it, or will you let another day slip away? The future version of you is watching, waiting, and hoping you choose to begin today. The way you begin your day shapes everything that follows. The first hour is a mirror of your priorities, a declaration of what you value most. If you fill it with noise, distraction, and reaction, you have already surrendered control. But if you fill it with clarity, strength, and purpose, you have claimed the day as yours before the world even has a chance to interfere. Success is not found in random bursts of effort. It is cultivated in these deliberate choices, repeated with consistency. Your energy is finite. You cannot give it freely to everything and expect to feel powerful. That is why your morning routine matters. It protects your focus from being scattered before you've even started. Research shows that the brain's peak capacity for decision-making and problem-solving comes in the early hours. If you spend that precious time scrolling, complaining, or delaying, you waste the sharpest part of your mind on things that do not matter. But if you dedicate those moments to growth, reflection, and movement, you multiply your strength for everything that follows. There is a reason the most accomplished people guard their mornings with intensity. They understand that discipline is not about restriction, it is about liberation. By choosing what matters most before distractions take over, they free themselves from the endless pull of the urgent but unimportant. They create space for the work that truly shapes their lives. You do not need to copy anyone else's exact routine, but you must decide what rituals lift you into your highest state. It could be stillness, it could be movement, it could be learning. What matters is not the form, but the consistency. Your routine is proof to yourself that your dreams matter. Every time you wake up and commit to it, you are reminding your subconscious that your goals are not just wishes, they are commands. This is how belief is built, not by waiting for confidence to appear, but by taking small, consistent actions that prove you are serious about who you want to become. Each action, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your identity, and soon those bricks form a wall too strong to be shaken by doubt. The resistance you feel in the morning is not a sign of weakness, it is a test. It asks one question: do you truly want the life you say you want? If the answer is yes, then your actions must align. Every moment you conquer the temptation to drift back into sleep or reach for easy comfort, you strengthen your ability to conquer bigger challenges later. The discipline you build in the small moments carries into the great battles. When the small and the large will follow, think of the feeling when you step into a day already filled with momentum. You are not chasing time, time is chasing you. You are not reacting to problems, you are moving with purpose, grounded in clarity. That feeling is not reserved for the few. It is available to anyone willing to honor the power of routine. You are capable of that shift. You're capable of breaking free from patterns that keep you stuck and creating patterns that lift you higher. Every sunrise is an invitation. It asks you whether you will continue to live on repeat or whether you will rise and rewrite the script. The choice is always there, waiting. The person you long to become is not distant. It is already inside you, waiting for you to prove it through action. And when you commit to a routine that honors your vision, you are no longer hoping for success. You are living it, one powerful morning at a time. Clarity is the heartbeat of a successful routine. Without it, even the most disciplined schedule becomes empty repetition. You must know why you rise early, why you practice certain habits, why you choose action over delay. Purpose is the fuel that keeps discipline alive. When you connect your routine to a vision bigger than comfort, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a path toward freedom. Each decision in your morning is no longer just about today. It is about the life you are building step by step. The human brain is drawn toward meaning. If you attach meaning to your actions, you create emotional power behind them. Psychology calls this intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, not from external rewards. When your routine is linked to your deepest values, it becomes easier to keep promises to yourself. You are no longer forcing habits, you are aligning with your identity. That alignment creates an unshakable flow of energy because every action feels connected to who you truly want to be. Think about it. If you say you want health, but your morning routine feeds laziness, the conflict tears at your confidence. If you say you want success, but your actions show indifference, your subconscious stops believing your words. This inner conflict is why so many people feel stuck. They are sending mixed signals to their own mind. But when your routine reflects your goals, doubt fades. You see evidence of progress in real time, and that evidence builds faith in yourself. Faith becomes confidence, and confidence becomes momentum. Momentum is everything. A body in motion tends to stay in motion, and the same is true for the mind. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, energy multiplies. That is why a powerful routine starts with something simple and winnable. Drinking water, moving your body, writing down your priorities. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it signals to your brain, the day has begun, and I am in control. That single act of intentionality sparks a chain reaction that carries forward. Small victories become larger ones, and soon, the day is not controlling you, you are controlling it. There will always be resistance. You will never completely eliminate the voice that says, stay comfortable, stay safe. But you don't need to silence it. You only need to act louder than it speaks. Discipline is not about never feeling resistance. It's about moving forward despite it. And every time you do, the voice grows weaker and your strength grows stronger. This is how resilience is built, not in grand moments, but in the quiet choices that no one sees. The reward for this work is not only external success, it is the inner power of self-trust. To wake up each day and know you will follow through on your commitments is one of the greatest forms of freedom. You are no longer controlled by moods, emotions, or excuses. You become someone who can rely on themselves completely. And when you trust yourself, you fear less because you know that no matter what comes, you have the strength to handle it. This is why clarity and intention matter so deeply in your daily routine. Without them, habits are fragile. With them, habits become unbreakable. Every morning is a chance to declare who you are becoming. Every action is a vote for your future self. And when you align your routine with your vision, you are no longer chasing success, you are embodying it, one deliberate choice at a time. Energy is the currency you spend on everything you do, and your routine decides whether you begin rich or bankrupt. Success does not only belong to the smartest or the most talented, it belongs to those who know how to protect and direct their energy. If you wake up and immediately drain yourself with stress, distractions, and chaos, you are starting your day already defeated. But if you wake up and build habits that fuel your body, sharpen your mind, and center your emotions, you create a reservoir of strength that carries you through the toughest challenges. Your physiology and your psychology are connected. When you move your body, you awaken your mind. When you nourish yourself with intention, you empower your focus. When you breathe deeply and deliberately, you calm the noise of anxiety and expand your clarity. Science shows us that even a few minutes of physical activity in the morning can increase dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that boost mood, focus, and motivation. This is not luxury. It is the foundation of high performance. You cannot demand greatness from yourself while starving your body of the fuel it needs to operate at its best. Discipline and energy is discipline in life. If you manage your energy poorly, you will always feel like you are chasing time. If you manage it wisely, you create space for creativity, productivity, and joy. That begins with understanding that your routine is not punishment, it is preparation. The push-ups, the stretches, the journaling, the meditation, the reading, They are not chores. They are deposits into the account of your future self. And the compound interest on those deposits is extraordinary. The truth is, most people do not fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they lack energy to seize opportunity. They let fatigue, laziness, and distraction steal their power. But you have the choice to live differently. You have the ability to wake each morning and declare, my energy is sacred. I will not waste it on what weakens me. I will invest it in what strengthens me. That declaration, lived out through your routine, separates those who drift from those who rise. Ask yourself what it would feel like to walk into every day with energy that overflows. Imagine how different your decisions would be if your mind was sharp, your body alive, and your emotions steady. Would you hesitate as much? Would you procrastinate as often? Or would you step boldly into the challenges that once intimidated you? That state of power is not fantasy. It is the natural result of routines that honor your energy. Every sip of water, every deep breath, every focused movement is more than a habit. It is a message to your mind and body, I'm preparing for greatness. And when you consistently prepare for greatness, you cannot help but move closer to it. Your environment begins to shift, your confidence expands, and your results start to reflect the power you have been cultivating within. This is not about perfection. There will be days when you stumble, when your energy feels lower, when the routine is harder to maintain. But the point is not to be flawless. The point is to be faithful. Every time you return to your habits, you reinforce the truth that your energy belongs to you, not to weakness, not to distraction, not to doubt. And when you guard it with discipline, you step into life equipped, prepared, and unstoppable. Your daily routine is not just about managing time. It is about mastering energy, the invisible force behind every achievement. Protect it, direct it, and multiply it. When your mornings become a ritual of energy and strength, your entire life becomes a reflection of power, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Focus is the weapon that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. Every distraction you allow into your routine steals not just minutes, but momentum. When your attention is scattered, your power is diluted. But when your focus is sharp, your actions cut through noise and strike directly at what matters most. The morning is the prime battlefield for this focus. If you win it early, the rest of the day bends in your favor. If you lose it, the world consumes you with demands, leaving you drained and reactive. Your brain is not built to handle constant interruptions. Studies prove that every time you break focus, it can take up to 20 minutes to fully recover. That means a single moment of distraction costs more than you realize. This is why protecting your attention in the early hours is critical. When you allow your phone, emails, or endless notifications to dictate your first thoughts, you give away the strongest part of your mind to things that do not move you closer to your goals. You hand over the steering wheel of your life before you even leave the driveway. But imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up and channeling your focus into the actions that lift you. A clear plan written down, a few minutes of silence to anchor your thoughts, a commitment to start with your most important task instead of the easiest one. That simple shift transforms your day. You go from chasing distractions to commanding direction. And when you start with focus, you carry that momentum into every choice that follows. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most and refusing to be pulled away. Your daily routine should be designed as a filter, separating the urgent from the essential. The urgent screams for attention, but the essential quietly builds your future. Most people live trapped by the urgent because they never create space for the essential. But you can break that cycle. You can choose to give your best energy to the work that defines you, not the noise that drains you. This is the discipline of mastery. To sit with one task, one goal, one commitment, and pour yourself into it without scattering your energy. To be fully present, undistracted, and intentional. That level of focus creates a flow state, a mental zone where time disappears and productivity multiplies. Athletes know it, artists know it, innovators know it, and you can access it too, but only if your routine clears space for it. The reward for focus is not only progress, it is peace. When your mind is pulled in 1,000 directions, you feel anxious, overwhelmed, and restless. But when your attention is directed, you feel calm, powerful, and in control. That peace is not weakness, it is strength. It allows you to move through challenges without being shaken because you know exactly what you are aiming at. And when you aim with precision, your chances of hitting the target multiply. Ask yourself, Are you building a life of reaction or a life of intention? Each morning you have the chance to answer that question. If you protect your focus, if you design your routine to shield you from distraction, you will create days filled with depth instead of noise, progress instead of delay, strength instead of weakness. Focus is not just a tool for success. It is the foundation of it. Guard it fiercely, and your daily routine will become a force that carries you to levels you once thought were impossible. Discipline is the backbone that holds every routine together. Without it, even the best plans collapse under the weight of excuses. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about honoring your commitments when it would be easier to walk away. It is the bridge between intention and achievement, the silent force that transforms good intentions into consistent results. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has leaned on discipline when motivation faded. And motivation will always fade. The spark that inspires you to begin is never enough to carry you to the finish. What carries you is the muscle of discipline, built day after day through repetition and choice. Your brain resists discipline because it demands effort, and effort feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is where growth lives. When you push through the resistance, you are not just completing a task, you are rewiring your mind to accept challenge as normal. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than the urge to quit. That proof compounds over time, and soon, the same actions that once felt impossible become effortless. This is the magic of discipline. It reshapes your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries. You see yourself as someone who follows through. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you are casting a vote for the future you want to build. That vote strengthens your self-image, and your self-image directs your behavior. If you see yourself as disciplined, you act disciplined. If you see yourself as unfocused, you act unfocused. The cycle feeds itself. This is why the simple act of waking up when you said you would, finishing the workout you wanted to quit, or completing the task you tried to avoid carries so much power. It is not about the task itself. It is about who you become by completing it. Discipline is also freedom. It frees you from the trap of regret. It frees you from the pain of knowing you could have done more, but chose less. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency. When you live with discipline, you do not waste time wondering if you will act. You know you will. That certainty removes hesitation and anxiety, allowing you to pour energy into growth instead of excuses. It is not restriction, it is liberation. Ask yourself which pain you are willing to carry, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One is sharp, temporary, and leads to strength. The other is heavy, lasting, and drains your spirit. Too many people carry regret because they refuse the smaller pain of discipline. But you are not destined to live that way. You have the power to choose differently, to choose the short discomfort that unlocks long-term pride and success. The reward of discipline is not only external results, but inner transformation. You look in the mirror and recognize someone reliable, someone capable, someone strong. That recognition fuels confidence, and confidence fuels courage. With courage, you step into opportunities others run from because you trust your ability to endure and persist. Discipline builds a foundation so solid that nothing external can shake it. This is why your daily routine must be guarded with discipline. Without it, the structure collapses. With it, the structure becomes unbreakable. Discipline is not a burden. It is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Each morning, each choice, each action is a chance to strengthen it. And when you do, you are no longer hoping for success. You are ensuring it. Consistency is where discipline evolves into transformation. One action performed once may spark inspiration, but one action performed daily builds identity. The routine you choose is not about what you do occasionally. It is about what you do relentlessly, whether you feel like it or not. Success does not reward bursts of effort followed by long pauses. It rewards steady repetition, the kind that builds invisible momentum until it suddenly becomes visible to everyone else. What feels small today becomes unstoppable tomorrow if you refuse to break the chain. Your mind craves patterns. Neuroscience reveals that habits are carved into the brain through repetition, and once formed, they run automatically. This is why consistency is so powerful. When your routine becomes a habit, it no longer demands the same energy or willpower. It becomes part of who you are. You no longer argue with yourself about whether to act. You act because it is your nature. The person who trains daily does not think about training, they simply train. The person who rises early does not battle with excuses, they simply rise. Consistency eliminates negotiation, and with negotiation gone, progress accelerates. The danger lies in inconsistency. Every time you start strong but stop midway, you teach yourself that your word cannot be trusted. You build the identity of someone who quits, and over time, that belief poisons confidence, leaving you hesitant and fragile. But when you show up day after day, even in small ways, you send the opposite signal. You prove that you can be counted on, that you are reliable, that you are unstoppable when you commit. That inner trust is worth more than any temporary result. Consistency does not mean perfection. There will be days when the routine feels heavy, days when progress seems invisible, days when your mind whispers that it does not matter, but those are the days that matter most. Every time you show up in the face of resistance, you strengthen the habit. Every time you follow through when it would have been easier to skip, you reinforce the identity you are building. Consistency is forged not on easy days, but on hard ones. The struggle is not a sign to stop. It is proof that transformation is taking place. The results of consistency are often hidden at first. Nothing seems to change, but beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. Like roots growing silently underground before the tree breaks through, your efforts are forming a foundation that cannot be shaken. Then one day the results burst into view. People call it overnight success, but you will know the truth. It was built in the quiet repetition of countless mornings when no one was watching. Ask yourself what kind of life you want to live, one built on scattered effort and endless restarts, or one built on the steady rhythm of progress that compounds over time. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is undefeated. It is the law that governs mastery, the force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers, and it is available to you right now in the choices you make today. Every repetition is a vote for your future. Every act of consistency is a declaration that you refuse to give up. When your routine becomes consistent, your identity becomes unshakable, and your results become inevitable. This is how greatness is built, not in a single moment of brilliance, but in the quiet, persistent rhythm of daily commitment. Progress is built on direction, and direction is created by clarity of goals. Without clear goals, even the most consistent routine drifts into aimless repetition. You can wake early, move your body, focus your mind, and still feel lost if you do not know where your energy is being directed. A powerful routine is not just about discipline and consistency. It is about alignment with the future you are determined to create. Every action in your day must point towards something larger than itself, something that gives your effort meaning. The mind thrives when it has a target. Goals act as anchors, pulling your attention back when distractions try to steal it. They give shape to your energy, turning effort into achievement. But goals alone are not enough. They must be broken into daily actions, small steps that fit into your routine. Otherwise, they remain distant dreams floating out of reach. When you translate your goals into actions you can take each morning, you bring the future into the present. You shrink the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Psychology calls this implementation intention, the act of deciding in advance exactly when and how you will take action. Studies show that people who attach their goals to specific routines are far more likely to succeed. This is why your daily structure matters so much. When your goals live inside your routine, they no longer rely on bursts of motivation. They become inevitable outcomes of your habits. Each morning becomes a rehearsal for the life you are building, and each completed action is proof that your vision is not just possible, but already unfolding. Clarity of goals also sharpens your ability to say no. When you know what you are working toward, distractions lose their power. The temptation to waste time weakens because you have something greater pulling you forward. Your goals act as a compass, showing you what deserves your energy and what does not. This clarity gives you the courage to walk away from what is easy so you can pursue what is meaningful. And that courage is what separates the average from the exceptional. Think about how powerful it feels when your actions and your ambitions are in sync. You are no longer hoping for success. You are living it in the present tense. Each step confirms that you are on the right path. Each decision reinforces your commitment. That alignment creates momentum so strong it becomes difficult to stop. Even on hard days, the clarity of your goals reminds you why you must continue. It becomes a light that guides you through doubt and fatigue. Without goals, routines feel empty. With goals, routines feel alive. They are no longer just habits repeated for the sake of order. They are tools shaping destiny. The person who ties their routine to their vision wakes each morning with purpose burning inside them, and that purpose is stronger than laziness, stronger than excuses, stronger than fear. Every time you act with clarity, you bring your future closer. Every time you complete a habit tied to your vision, you vote for the life you want. And over time, those votes add up to transformation so powerful it feels unstoppable. The difference between drifting and advancing is not talent, not luck, not opportunity. It is clarity. When your goals and your routine unite, you become a force impossible to ignore. Your environment shapes your routine more than willpower ever will. No matter how strong your intentions, if you surround yourself with distractions, clutter, and negative influences, you make discipline harder than it needs to be. But when you design your surroundings with purpose, you make success the default. Psychology calls this choice architecture, the idea that the setup of your environment determines the ease of your decisions. If you want to rise early, prepare your space the night before. If you want to move your body, place your shoes where you cannot ignore them. If you want to focus, clear away the noise that steals your attention. The smallest changes in your environment can create the biggest shifts in your consistency. Your brain is constantly scanning for cues, and those cues trigger your habits. If the first thing you see when you wake is your phone, you are pulled into distraction before your day even begins. If the first thing you see is a journal or a glass of water, you are reminded of your commitment to clarity and energy. This is not about strength alone. It is about strategy. The strongest people do not always have more willpower. They simply design their environment so that success requires less resistance. This is why environment is more than physical space. It is also the people you allow around you. Energy is contagious. Spend time with people who live in excuses, and you will feel your own discipline erode. Spend time with people who demand more from themselves, and you will naturally rise to meet their standard. Your daily routine is not just a reflection of your habits, but also of your influences. Guard them carefully. Align yourself with voices, spaces, and tools that elevate you, not weaken you. The power of environment lies in its subtlety. You may not notice its pull, but it is always there. A messy desk makes procrastination easier. A quiet, organized space makes focus natural. An environment filled with negativity makes doubt louder. A space filled with reminders of your vision makes belief stronger. You are never neutral. You are always being shaped. The question is, are you being shaped by design or by default? Imagine walking into a space that reflects the life you want to build. Every object has a purpose. Every cue points you toward growth. Every detail supports your vision. In such a space, your routine feels less like a battle and more like a rhythm. You no longer fight against temptation every morning. You flow toward progress. This is the unseen advantage of those who achieve consistently. They do not rely on raw willpower alone. They stack the odds in their favor by creating an environment where success feels natural. The reward for mastering your environment is freedom from constant friction. You free yourself from wasted energy, from unnecessary decisions, from battles that could have been avoided. That freedom allows you to pour more effort into creation, growth, and focus. You begin each day already aligned with your goals because your space has been designed to pull you toward them. Your routine is not just about what you do, it is about where you do it and who you do it around. Change your environment and you change your habits. Change your habits and you change your identity. And once your identity changes, the future you dream of is no longer a vision. It is a reality being lived, one intentional morning at a time. The quality of your routine is determined not just by the actions you take, but by the energy you bring to them. Energy is the invisible fuel that drives discipline, focus, and resilience. Without it, even the best plan collapses under the weight of fatigue and hesitation. With it, the simplest routine becomes powerful, sustainable, and deeply rewarding. Your energy is not fixed. It is something you can build, protect, and expand through intentional choices. And when you master your energy, every other part of your daily life becomes easier to control. One of the most overlooked truths is that energy is created by motion. When you move your body, you generate vitality. When you sit still for too long, you invite stagnation. This is why exercise is not only about strength or appearance, it is about the psychology of momentum. A body in motion awakens a mind in motion. The sweat, the breath, the heartbeat all signal your brain to release chemicals of focus, clarity, and motivation. If you want discipline to feel natural, start by energizing your body. It is a ritual that multiplies the power of every other habit. But energy is not only physical, it is mental. The thoughts you feed your mind either charge you or drain you. Constant negative input steals your strength before you have even begun. Inspiration, learning, and gratitude, on the other hand, fill you with fuel that sustains your drive. What you consume, what you repeat to yourself, what you choose to focus on, all of it shapes your state. Protect your mind as fiercely as you protect your time, because both determine the quality of your routine. And there is also emotional energy, the deep current that flows beneath your actions. If your daily life is filled with resentment, fear, or comparison, no routine can feel empowering. But when you cultivate purpose, gratitude, and progress, your routine becomes more than tasks. It becomes a meaningful path forward. Emotional energy is built when you connect your actions to something greater than the moment. A workout becomes a step towards strength you can rely on. Reading becomes an investment in the person you are becoming. Rest becomes a choice to honor your body's need to recover so you can rise stronger tomorrow. The most successful people understand that energy must be managed like the most precious resource. They do not waste it on battles that do not matter. They do not scatter it on endless distractions. They invest it carefully, with intention, into the routines that bring the highest return. When you protect your energy, you protect your potential. When you elevate your energy, you elevate your results. Imagine beginning each day with a reservoir of focus, clarity, and strength. Imagine building routines not from a place of exhaustion, but from abundance. Your life changes not because you force yourself to do more, but because you learn to operate at a higher level of energy. That is the hidden key to sustaining success, not just working harder, but living in a state that makes consistent action possible. Energy multiplies discipline, amplifies progress, and transforms ordinary habits into extraordinary results. Protect it, build it, and your routine will no longer feel like effort. It will feel like power unfolding. Clarity is the foundation that gives your routine meaning. Without clarity, even the most disciplined actions feel empty. You can wake up early, work long hours, and follow every strategy. But if you are not clear on why you are doing it, your energy eventually fades. Clarity gives direction to effort. It transforms routine from repetition into purpose. When you know exactly what matters, every choice becomes easier, every habit becomes lighter, and every day feels like a step forward instead of a cycle of motion without progress. The human mind craves direction. Psychology shows that uncertainty drains motivation because the brain hates confusion. When you lack clarity, your routine feels like noise. You are busy but not effective, moving but not advancing. But when you define your vision, you align your actions with meaning. You turn the fog into a straight path. You stop scattering your effort in 100 directions and start building momentum in one. That is how ordinary days compound into extraordinary results. Through clarity of purpose, clarity begins with asking yourself what truly matters. What kind of life are you building? Who do you want to become? What do you want your days to reflect when you look back years from now? These questions cut through distraction and reveal what deserves your focus. When your vision becomes sharp, your routine becomes sacred because you know every choice is either moving you closer to your future or pulling you further away. And that awareness makes discipline less about sacrifice and more about alignment. Clarity also requires simplicity. When you overload your routine with endless goals and tasks, you dilute your focus. The mind performs best when it knows exactly what to prioritize. Studies show that people with fewer but sharper goals achieve more than those who scatter themselves across too many objectives. Simplicity is power. A clear, simple daily routine anchored to your highest priorities will always outperform a chaotic one filled with distractions disguised as productivity. The beauty of clarity is that it breeds confidence. When you know your direction, doubt loses its grip. Every small win confirms your path. Every action deepens your belief. You stop questioning whether you're doing enough because you know your routine is aligned with your ultimate vision. And that confidence creates emotional stability. It carries you through setbacks because you know where you are going, even if today feels difficult. Imagine waking up each morning with no confusion, no hesitation, only certainty. Imagine looking at your routine and seeing not just tasks, but a blueprint for the life you are building. That kind of clarity creates peace, and that peace creates power. You no longer waste energy on second guessing or chasing what does not matter. Instead, you channel every ounce of effort into what matters most. Clarity is not just knowing what to do. It is knowing why it matters. When your why is strong enough, the how becomes easier. The routine that once felt heavy becomes light because you see every action as an investment into your future self. And the more you practice clarity, the more unstoppable you become. Because while others are busy moving without direction, you are moving with precision, momentum, and purpose. And that difference, sustained daily, is what turns an ordinary routine into a life of extraordinary success. Clarity alone is not enough if you do not have the courage to act on it. Many people know what they want, but they hesitate, they wait, they second guess themselves until opportunity slips away. Action is the bridge between vision and reality. It is the only way to transform thought into progress, and yet it is the step most people delay. Fear, doubt, and perfectionism disguise themselves as preparation, but they are really barriers keeping you from momentum. The truth is simple. The smallest action beats the most perfect intention. The mind loves to overcomplicate, to wait for the right moment, the right feeling, the right level of confidence. But psychology proves that action itself creates clarity and confidence. You do not wait until you feel ready. You become ready by moving. The brain releases dopamine not when you finish something, but when you begin. Starting is the trigger that creates motivation. The more you act, the more your brain rewards you with energy, and the cycle builds. This is why success belongs not to those who plan endlessly, but to those who dare to take the first step and keep going. Action builds identity. Every time you follow through, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. You train your mind to see yourself as disciplined, capable, and resilient. And over time, this identity becomes stronger than any doubt. You stop asking, can I do this? And start saying, this is who I am. That shift is powerful because when your actions align with your identity, discipline is no longer a battle. It is natural. Waiting for motivation before taking action is a trap. Motivation comes after movement, not before it. If you wait until you feel like it, you will be waiting forever. The winners are the ones who show up regardless of mood, regardless of circumstance, because they know momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. And the more consistent your action, the less resistance you face, because habit makes effort automatic. Action also destroys fear. Fear grows in silence, in hesitation, in the space between thought and execution. The longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. But the moment you act, fear weakens. You realize it was never as big as it seemed. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. And every act of courage, no matter how small, expands your capacity for the next one. Imagine the life you could create if you acted boldly on your clarity every single day. Imagine the progress that would compound, the skills you would build, the doors that would open. Success is rarely about doing massive things once. It is about doing consistent, meaningful things daily. And none of that happens without action. Your dreams do not move closer while you think about them. They move closer when you act, even imperfectly, even clumsily. Progress is not about flawless execution. It is about forward motion. Every step counts. Every effort compounds. Every action reshapes your reality. Do not wait for certainty. Do not wait for permission. The power is already in your hands, and the moment you choose action, you choose transformation. Consistency is the multiplier that turns small actions into unstoppable momentum. Anyone can take action once, but the real transformation comes from showing up again and again, even when the excitement has faded, even when progress feels invisible. Success is rarely the result of one big leap. It is the result of 1,000 small steps repeated with discipline until they compound into something extraordinary. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who live their dreams. The mind resists repetition because it craves novelty, but growth is built on stability. Psychology shows that habits form not through intensity, but through repetition. It's not about how much you do in one day, but about what you do every day. A single workout does not change your body, but daily training does. Reading once does not change your mind, but daily learning does. Writing once does not sharpen your skills, but daily practice does. Consistency is the silent force that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The power of consistency lies in its compounding effect. Each act reinforces the identity you are building. Each repetition strengthens the neural pathways in your brain, making the behavior easier, smoother, more automatic. At first, discipline feels heavy, but as habits take root, they become part of who you are. You no longer have to push as hard because momentum begins to pull you forward. What once required willpower becomes natural. And that transition is where true freedom begins. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to become the person you've chosen to be. Consistency also creates trust in yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build inner confidence. You prove to your own mind that you can be relied upon. And when you trust yourself, you stop seeking validation from outside. You no longer need constant reassurance because your discipline has given you certainty. That inner trust is priceless because it becomes the foundation for courage, resilience, and ambition. But consistency is not perfection. You will stumble. You will have days where you fall short. What matters is not avoiding failure, but refusing to let failure break your streak. Progress is not about never slipping. It's about rising faster every time you do. The most successful people are not those who never fail, but those who never stop returning to their path. Consistency is built not on flawless execution, but on relentless recommitment. Imagine how different your life would look if you remained faithful to your routine, not for a week, not for a month, but for years. Imagine the strength, the mastery, the results that would accumulate if you simply refused to quit. That is the power of consistency. It magnifies your effort until the impossible becomes inevitable. Every day you show up, even in small ways, you are building something greater than you can yet see. And while others wait for motivation, you are building momentum. While others chase shortcuts, you are laying foundations. And when the results finally appear, they will not come as a surprise. They will come as the natural harvest of seeds planted daily, watered with discipline, and grown through the unstoppable force of consistency. Discipline is the anchor that holds your routine steady when everything around you tries to pull you off course. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with moods, circumstances, and emotions. But discipline is different. Discipline is the choice to act according to your values instead of your feelings. It is the ability to say yes to what you know will serve you, even when every part of you wants the comfort of saying no. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. It is the hidden strength that allows you to shape your days instead of being shaped by them. The human brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. That instinct once kept us safe, but in today's world, it often keeps us stuck. Discipline is the conscious override of that wiring. It is choosing the long-term reward over the short-term escape. Every time you exercise discipline, you strengthen the part of your brain responsible for self-control, resilience, and focus. Neuroscience shows that discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like a muscle, it grows not by avoiding resistance, but by meeting it head on. Discipline removes the weight of decision fatigue. When you decide in advance what matters, you no longer waste energy debating with yourself. Your actions become non-negotiable. Wake-up time is fixed. Training is fixed. Learning is fixed. You do not bargain with yourself. You follow through. This reduces stress, increases focus, and creates the clarity to pursue higher goals. People think discipline limits freedom, but the opposite is true. Indiscipline chains you to your impulses. Discipline liberates you from them. There will be moments when discipline feels like a battle. Your mind will whisper excuses. Your body will crave comfort. The world will offer distractions disguised as opportunities. In those moments, discipline is the line you draw. It is the quiet voice that says, I will not break my promise to myself. That voice may be small, but with practice, it grows louder than temptation. And every time you listen to it, you reinforce your belief in your own strength. Discipline is also an act of respect for yourself and for your future. When you show discipline, you declare that your future is worth more than your present comfort. You affirm that the person you are becoming deserves your effort today. That respect builds self-worth. You stop seeing yourself as someone who settles for less and start seeing yourself as someone who demands more. That shift changes everything, from your confidence to your results. Imagine living with a level of discipline so strong that no distraction could pull you off track. Imagine how much energy you would save, how much progress you would make, how much pride you would carry knowing that you are in control of your actions. That kind of discipline is possible, and it begins with the simple choice to keep showing up no matter what. Discipline is not punishment. It is not deprivation. It is the highest form of self-love because it proves that you are willing to do what is required to create the life you deserve. And when discipline becomes a natural part of your daily routine, success is no longer a question of if, it becomes a matter of when.